check if you can hear me. Or actually, I'll just have someone text me. All right, here we go. Game 1 of the U.S.-Canada Cup here in Detroit. U16 Culver. This is against Stoney Creek 18U, what they call AA, which is the same as our AAA. Lou takes it up on the left side, drives into the corner, leaves it back, but turnover, and Stoney Creek attacks. Weak shot, floats in harmlessly from the left side. Puck gets dumped back into the zone to Lou. Lou escapes behind the net, sends it up the middle to Kearney. Puck goes just outside the blue line, and Stoney Creek regroups behind the net. Sadiakov forces a turnover, and Kearney drives it in. Pass across the slot. No one on the other side. Kearney forechecks again. Puck comes back to Fischler. Fischler over to Putnam, who drives it in. Stoney Creek working behind their own net. They break up the right side. They'll dump it in low. Messersmith down to retrieve. Not quite across the red line, so icing on Stoney Creek. Looks like we have 15-minute periods. Minute 30 penalties based upon the game right before us. Fusoni tries to gather a bouncing puck on the left side, just out of reach. Puck gets bounced up along the boards. Messersmith defending, and Stoney Creek goes off sides. Face-off gets sent back to Messersmith. Messersmith looks across, bounces off a skate, over to Fusoni. Back across the blue line. Fusoni chips it behind the net to Messersmith. Messersmith gets bothered, and Sadiakov goes to support in the corner. Sadiakov working the puck up. She has Wilson with her. She goes up the boards to Wilson. Wilson, shot. Save. Stoney Creek. Good chip off the wall by Sadiakov to get that pass up for a chance. Oh, nice sidestep by Lou. Lou, shot. Just wide right. Bossert, or it might be Esmond. No, it is Bossert. Bossert, Lai drives across the slot, tries to send it in front, goes wide right. Harris working along the boards. And puck goes up and over to Lou. Lou scans, uses her net, sends it up. That gets sent back in deep. Baczynski picks up the puck, sends that up the boards. Over to Stoney Creek. Their shot gets blocked. Harris chips that out. Culver goes for their line change. Lou picks up the puck, sends it up to Baczynski. Baczynski tries to get across the center line. Stoney Creek recovers. Chip across the middle, dangerous shot. Stoney Creek. Oh. Finally gets up and out. Sorry, I paused because Williams had slipped and was down on her back, but no shot came in. Fischler picks it up. She looks to rush that puck. She chips it by. Goes into the corner hard. Puck over to Sadiakov now. Sadiakov with some room through the neutral zone. She looks for Arigos Alzada. Puck gets sent in deep. Furch into the corner. Furch still with it. She chips that up to Arigos Alzada. Back down to Fischler. Fischler reverses down to Arigos Alzada. Sadiakov supports. Puck gets chipped. Sticked up into the netting by Williams. Bosher takes the draw. Harris up on the left point, pressures. Chandler looks for the puck, tries to find it in her skates. Stoney Creek with a soft shot in on Williams, who makes the save. Foster with the puck, wins it over to Harris. Harris gets that sticked aside. Bosser looks over to the boards. Lai with the puck, tries to send that up the middle. She chips that up to Harris, who's pursuing. Harrison on the forecheck. Chandler with the pinch. Puck gets up and out to Lai. Lai sends over to Messersmith. Messersmith gets it back to Lai. Lai with the puck. Down on the boards. Makes a move. Works down low. Lai behind the net. Sends it up front. Sends it across. Gets through the slot. Now Kearney in with it, and Stoney Creek, they'll get that up and out of the zone. Over to Chandler. Chandler works it up to Frazier. Frazier works her way across to Arigos Alzada, and shot on net. Save Stoney Creek. Sadiakov in on the draw in the offensive zone. Fusoni gathers the puck. Fusoni gets it up over to Lou. Back to Fusoni, over to Sadiakov. Sadiakov chases behind the net. And Stoney Creek make the rush up the right side. Intercepted by Buzinski, but soft shot comes in off the cage behind the net. Now Stoney Creek circles. They get it up to their point. They send it down low. They work the top of the circle. They cycle. Pressure by Buzinski. Over to Wilson. Buzinski gets tied up. Sadiakov tries to work it over back to Buzinski. And now over to Sadiakov. Sadiakov has low room. Smart play. She chips it out of the zone. Gets that over to Fusoni. Fusoni forechecks in. Fusoni gets taken out, but gathered up. Centering pass gets intercepted, and Stoney Creek comes up the boards. Stoney Creek with a little steam here, driving hard to the net. Dangerous opportunity for Stoney Creek, and it looks like Stoney Creek's offensive opportunity draws a penalty. Get Fischler in the box for tripping. So minute 30 penalty here for Culver as Stoney Creek wins the draw. Stoney Creek works across the top. Shot blocked by Lai. Bosser and Lai working the tops of the square. Shot by Stoney Creek, and Lai will clear out. Lai in on the pressure. Stoney Creek passes up through the neutral zone. They gain the line. They'll work it across the top again here. Pass to the right, pass over to the left side. They regroup to the top. They work it down low to the right. They throw a hard sauce pass that hops over a stick, and now Messersmith clears. Culver will get a much needed line change on the PK. 25 seconds left. On the PK. And Stoney Creek picks up the puck. They send it in low. Williams, quick pad. Worked up to the top. Now shot. Williams sees it all the way. And nice glove save by Williams. Kearney, Frazier, Buzinski, and Liu with 7 seconds left on the PK. Stoney Creek looking for one more chance. Quick shot through the screen. Rebound up front, loose. Stoney Creek picks it up and they send it to the neutral zone. Back to even strength. Putnam skating hard in pursuit. Puck comes up and out. Liu is going to gather this puck with one forechecker. She reverses. Putnam picks it up, chips it up the wall. Putnam and Kearney chasing, and Stoney Creek brings that back across the neutral zone. Go toe drag, good shot. Good save by Williams. Nice little toe drag by the Stoney Creek forward, and Williams sharp with the save. Sadiakov wins the draw to Furch. Furch sends it over to Fischler. Fischler sends it up, tries to find Seekins on the right wing. And Seekins gets the puck. Stoney Creek with the shot goes wide left, and they'll pick it up again in the corner. Fischler finds Seekins. Seekins sends it over Sadiakov just off of a skate and held in by Stoney Creek. Stoney Creek with a chance. Solid position by Williams. Denies the Stoney Creek saver. Sadiakov works her way in across the left side. Good drag towards the slot and saved by the Stoney Creek goalie. Some new lines this weekend versus last. So Bosser in with Harris and Lai. Puck gets by Chandler. Sabres have a 2-on-1 shot. Save. Good clear by Bossert there. Good save on a 2-on-1 as the Stoney Creek got the pass over to the left wing. Bossert takes the draw just to the right of Williams. Stoney Creek gets it up at the top of the blue line. They work their way down low. They look to cycle, but they pick it up behind the net. Over to the middle. Sticked aside by Bosser. Bosser will pick up, but not cleared. Stoney Creek gets it. They look along the boards. Lai battles along the boards. Stoney Creek sends it in deep. Messersmith chips it to the corner. Still back to the near boards, and Chandler comes out with it. Chandler skates up. She's looking. She gains the red line, sends it in deep. Stoney Creek stretch pass gets picked off, but still held in. Lou back to pursue. Still works behind the net, and Buzinski up to Frazier. Frazier trying to chip that out. Held in, back, retrieved by Lou. Lou sends it along the boards to Putnam. Held in by the Sabres again. Now stepped up and intercepted by Frazier. Work through the neutral zone now. Lou up over to Frazier. Now quite sent in deep. Opportunity by Stoney Creek. Stoney Creek retrieves the puck. They work it up to the left point. Sent in wide left. Looked like they were looking for a tip. Buzinski gets the puck. She sends that up to Wilson, but not out. Sent back out by Lou. .157 left in this first period. Scoreless game, 0-0. Eagles having a tough time connecting on these passes. Probably have a little more time than they think. Fusoni with the puck. Puck gets sent in. Furch chips it on the boards. Still comes across the slot. Now Fusoni will chip it up and out. And Furch will get the puck. She sends that across, but that gets intercepted by Stoney Creek. They get the puck blocked by Fischler. Up to Fusoni. Goes up in the air. She sends that over to Wilson. Wilson with a chance. Drops over to Sadiakov. Now Stoney Creek intercepts. Battle through the neutral zone, and Furch sends it over to Fusoni. Furch first to the puck and on the forecheck. Furch circling, trying to find some help. She sends it up. Held in by Harris, but now out, and Fischler will chip that puck back in. Stoney Creek works it along the right side of the boards. They send it in deep. Fischler sends it behind the net to Bossert. Over to Harris. Harris gets taken out, and Stoney Creek, they spin. They work their way through the slot. Puck sitting. Cleared out by Fischler. Stoney Creek sends it in for an icing. .29 seconds left in the first period. Looks like we have Kearney taking the face-off. Kearney works it back, but goes through the skates of Messersmith. Chandler picks it up. Brings it along the boards. 13 seconds left in the first. Stoney Creek, they come across center. Messersmith works the puck back in. Goes behind the Stoney Creek net. Opportunity here if we hurry. Ooh, good opportunity. As an Eagle sent it in off the pad from a sharp angle with a rebound to the slot, but no one there to get that rebound. No ice cut here between the first and second. Start of the second period, Stoney Creek. They win the puck. They send that through the neutral zone. Outlet. Back over to Chandler. Chandler backhands it in. Pursuit by Fusoni and Wilson. Oh, break for the Sabres as the Culver D collided. And they'll make the most of that opportunity with a goal. So it looked like the two defenders collided just outside their own blue line, so the Sabres came in 2-on-0. Puck went to the corner and then centered right in front of Williams for a quick shot and score by Stoney Creek. So 1-0 Stoney Creek early in the second period. Puck comes over to Lou. Pursuit by Boster. Puck dumped down low. Boster picks up the puck. She backhands that out to Harris. Harris can't get that out. Back to the slot area. Stoney Creek with a shot. Save. And cleared out to center. Stoney Creek outlets to the right side. No penalty there. Buzinski in with the defense. Lai sends that across center. Comes up and out and chipped back in low. Eagles. Frazier takes it across the neutral zone. She pressures. Two Eagles go down. And Sabres with an opportunity. They send the shot in. Save Williams. Comes up to the left point. She cycles it down low. Intercepted by the Eagles and cleared. No ice. Kearney playing center today. As looks like Esmond is not in today. Oh, good save by Williams on a hard shot to her right pad. Sabres. They look to center again. Shot gets blocked. Sabres work it back to the center. Quick save by Williams. Diakov wins the draw. Works over to Chandler, over to Messersmith. Messersmith up center. Almost a good break for Seekins down the right side. Puck bounces to the Sabres, who come across in center, high slot. They work their way through. Work it across the top. That gets intercepted. Comes up to Adigos Alzada. Sabres break out to the right. They'll chip it in, and Lou goes back to retrieve. Lou has some room. She puts that up to Adigos Alzada, who chips it in. Lie on the forecheck. Good pressure, good turnover forced. And the Eagles have it behind the net. Buzinski with it. Lie with it behind the net. She works her way. She retrieves it across the center. She centers. Held up. Harris with an opportunity, but can't get the stick on the puck. And Sabres clear. Eagles attack on the right side. Harris with the puck, sends it. Good opportunity there, just missed Bosser's stick. Bosser picks it up and sends it in. That gets picked off by Harris. Harris sends it up the boards to Frazier. Frazier working behind the net. Frazier working with Kearney. And Kearney drives the net. Oh, centering, loose, shot. Fischler blocked. Kearney. She'll chip it back behind the net, and Putnam goes back to retrieve. Putnam sends it across the slot, no one there. And Sabres will ice the puck. Good chances for the Eagles. Puck bouncing around up front. Sadikov wins the faceoff. Over to Messerschmidt, shot wide left. Rebounds out to the right, and Stoney Creek will clear. Chandler gets the puck. She'll bounce that off the wall to Wilson. Back to Messerschmidt. Messerschmidt circles behind the net. Works it up the center. Fusoni chasing this one. Played by the Stoney Creek goalie, but behind the goal line, so they call an icing. Stoney Creek with the draw. They win it. They send it down low, bounce off Williams, circles behind the net. Stoney Creek still with the puck. They work it back and forth down low. Stoney Creek with an opportunity, they center. And that gets up and cleared. This is going to go for another icing. Stoney Creek wins the puck. They work it across the top. Forced to dump it in down low. Stoney Creek with a shot, save Williams. Stoney Creek with a shot in the prime area. That puck is loose and held frozen. So yeah, this camera angle is tough at the far end. There is nowhere center ice to film closer. The benches, players' benches are on the left, and then along the right side, it's obstructed with a lot of the penalty box glass. So this is pretty much the only spot to film, except for the opposite end of the rink as well. Eagles dump it in down low. Stoney Creek, they try and clear. Opportunity here for Putnam. He shoots wide right. Frazier pressures, and Stoney Creek will send that up, and it won't be icing as it's on net. Fischler gathers. She sends that up to Putnam. She bounces that into the zone for no ice, and Stoney Creek comes back with it. Puck intercepted by Culver, but then turned back over to Stoney Creek. Stoney Creek, they send that, work it along the boards. Puck gets chipped up and out. Sadigoff has to wait for players to get on sides, and she sends that in down low. Adigo Zalzada in on the forecheck with Sadigoff. And Seekins. Chandler picks up the puck. She looks for Adigo Zalzada. That gets sent back in deep. Out in by the Sabres. Sabres work it to top of the circles. Shot wide right. Now still battling in the far corner. Finally, sharp shot in from the post area. And Culver has to ice again. .6:20 left in the second period. Stoney Creek Sabres up 1-0 over the Culver Eagles. Stoney Creek, they turn it over to Buzinski. Buzinski chips it up the boards over to Lai. Lai pursues. That gets chipped back down low. Lou back to retrieve. She sends it up to Harris. Harris sends it across to Bossert. Bossert with some speed. Oh, that was Lou with some good speed and just off sides. Stoney Creek, they win the face-off, they bank it off the boards, down deep. That's gonna go for an icing. Kearney wins the face-off, but not far enough to get over to Furch. Furch, good cross-ice pressure, forcing Stoney Creek wide. Stoney Creek retreats through the neutral zone. Now they have a chance on the right side. Defended well by Fischler. Fischler sends it around the boards. Funny bounce off the boards, bounces out up front. And now the puck comes up loose. And Culver will clear. Stoney Creek, tic-tac-toe passing across the neutral zone. Hard shot, and that gets saved and put up into the netting. So quick transition by Stoney Creek to come through the neutral zone. 2 passes and they were in. Face off to the left of Williams. Sadiakov wins it. Puck gets sent up and out. Chip with Fusoni in pursuit. Now Stoney Creek, they gather behind the net. Wilson in. Wilson, good physical play in the corner. She forces a turnover, and Sadikov with hard shot. Rebound out front. Sadikov chips it to Fusoni. Fusoni working along the wall. She sends that up to the point. Messersmith. Pass over to Chandler. Just came out of the zone. And now Sabres come back. Tough shot upstairs by Stoney Creek from the left dot area over Williams' shoulder. So Stoney Creek takes a 2-0 lead with 4:11 left in the second period. Stoney Creek, they'll dump it down low. Buzinski over to Lou. Turnover, and Stoney Creek has it. They come across the high slot area, send it in low. Intercepted by Eagles. Bossert circles around. To work that back up to Bossert. Bossert sends it over to Lai. Lai has a chance. Lai tries to drag across. Poked aside, retrieved by Harris. Lai with the puck. She works her way, tries to center it. Comes back to Stoney Creek. Stoney Creek tries to bounce it out. Now they'll clear. They send it up the right side. Drop pass. A sharp shot in, low. Save Williams. Retrieved by Buzinski. Buzinski back over to, can't see who. The Eagles battle in the corner. Work behind the net. And still working in the corner for possession. Puck finally goes up and out. No icing. Putnam comes in on the forecheck. That gets sent around to the boards. Intercepted by Furch. Putnam's shot gets blocked. Kearney working for the puck. She sends it down low. Held in. Nice patience by Fisher. Shot, rebound, up front, in the skates, loose, still loose. Still loose. Looks like the Stoney Creek player is laying on top. And they don't call anything. Not sure what the rule is on that. That's never a delay game.
Almost never.
Yeah. Has to be in the blue paint area. Face off to the right of Stoney Creek. One back to Culver. Culver. Good spin by Furch. Furch sends it in low to Sadikov. Sadikov tries to work over to Fusoni in the slot. Held in by Furch. Nice hold in. There's got to be something, but still nothing. Wilson got interfered with pretty well. Now Sadikov chips it in down low. Back over to Furch. Furch shot. Rebound. Comes back to Stoney Creek. They work it behind the net. Stoney Creek, good patience to circle back around. And I didn't see what happened, but
I think I got it on camera, but I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. Looks like
Pretty sure it's on camera, but I was looking at the corner.
yeah, looks like Wilson is down. Good to see Wells sitting up. She's skating off on her own. Stoney Creek will pick up the penalty here. Did not see what it was for. Culver gets a chance to get back into this game and try and cut this deficit in half. Trailing 0-2, 1:19 left in the second period. Stoney Creek, they win the draw, but good chase down. Sadiakov works it down the line. That comes out back to Sadiakov. Sadiakov looks to set up. Over to Lai, over to the point. Set up to the right side with Fischler. Fischler looking. Fischler. Good hard shot, just misses left. And that rebound will come out and cleared by Stoney Creek. 50 seconds left in the period. Yep. And Culver looks to break out now. Loose skates. Pass over to Sadiakov. Sadiakov works it back to Lou. Lou over to Fischler. Fischler down to Lai. Lai, shot. Oh, off the goalie's helmet. Up into the netting. Good movement around the perimeter though. 16 seconds left in the second. Sadiakov wins it. Shot. Trying to get it past the screen of Messersmith. Lai has the puck. 5 seconds left. Lou. Fischler. Sends it up front. Oh. Good idea. Trying to feed Sadiakov right in front of the goalie. So we'll go to ice cut here. Can we ask them to move?
The only thing better than getting to watch your kids back-to-back games on the
Yeah.
same ice
Right. Would be 2 wins, yeah. There we are. Start of the third period. Culver trailing 2-0. Pretty much the last few seconds of this power play is ending, so even strength now. Puck comes up to Lou. Lou tries to break out, comes through the skates. Lai picks it up across the left side. Lai comes in, cuts across the middle. Shot. Oh, just off of a glove. And rebound out front, still bouncing around. Just squirts outside the blue line. And Fischler gets it. She sends it across, but a lot of Eagles changing, and no one picked that up, so it goes for icing. Puck gets picked up by Putnam. Putnam works her way across the right side. She gets cut off and taken out on the boards. Now Stoney Creek with a 2-on-2 against Fischler Furch. Fischler forces her player wide, who drops it. Shot goes wide right. Puck comes back across, and Fischler bounces it outside of the zone. Kearney forces that player to dump it in, and Furch has the puck. Furch works it over to Wilson. That goes off of a skate. Now back into Fischler. Fischler sends it in deep, on net, no ice. Driven down and held on as Sadiakov came in to force the face-off. Face off in the Stoney Creek zone. Stoney Creek work it into the neutral zone, but intercepted by Messersmith. Now back to Stoney Creek. They try and center. Now Wilson with the puck. She sends it down low to Messersmith. Messersmith. Loose puck up front. Shot and saved by Williams. Wilson will chip that up and goes for an icing. With that ice cut, pretty easy to send it down for icing. Bosser will take the draw. Puck comes out of the zone. Stoney Creek sends it in low. Buzinski with it. She sends that over, intercepted by Stoney Creek. Now Buzinski again picks it up. She has a little bit of room. She sends it in deep. Over to Harris. Live pressures along the boards. Now Stoney Creek picks it up. They try and work it through the neutral zone, and Harris sends it in. Back to Bosser. Over to Stoney Creek. Stoney Creek, they work their way across the middle. Stoney Creek, 2 players going for the puck at the same time. Now Frazier dumps it in low. Putnam gets taken out along the boards. And I think Stoney Creek should go in for interference here. And Culver will get their second power play opportunity of the game. Sadiakov will take the draw in the offensive zone. Puck gets over to Fischler or Lou at the top over to Fischler. Fischler shot blocked. Fischler pressure trying to hold it in, sends it in down low. Worked over to Fischler again. Rotates with Sadiakov. Fischler sends it across the slot. Held in by Lou. Lou comes across. Hard shot on net. Save. And that gets sent up and out. Williams out of the net to help Lou, but Lou retrieves. Lou reverses. Lou sends it over to Lai. Lai over to Sadiakov. Battle on the boards. That comes up along the blue line. 30 seconds left. Lou goes back to the other side. Shot, save, Williams. And Messersmith gets the puck. Shows to get out. Over to Fischler. Fischler quick over to Furch. That gets sent in deep. Oh my gosh. Rebound off the net and came right out to the Stoney Creek player. Back to even strength now. Stoney Creek sends a bouncing puck in front of the net. Now work behind the net to Buzinski. Buzinski handles it. Gathers some speed along the right side. She'll dump it in low. Retrieve it. Sends it up. Shot. Chandler. Rebound. Goes behind the net. Stoney Creek. They'll clear through the neutral zone. Now Fischler has it again. She works it over to the right side of Frazier. Now intercepted by Lou. Lou tries to work her way in. And Stoney Creek will ice this puck. Foster wins the faceoff back to Lou. Lou's shot gets partially blocked. Now retrieval by Buzinski. D to D to Lou. Lou over to Lai. Lai kicks it over to Bossert. Bossert has some room. Hard shot. Save. Rebound. Lai sends it back, but out of the zone. Fischler will dump that in. And the Eagles will get partial line change. Furch spins. She sends it in deep. Fusoni pressuring. Stoney Creek now sends it across the left boards, picked up by the right wing. Furch, good intercept. Furch's outlet gets blocked, and now Stoney Creek has it. They work it across the slot area, picked up by Wilson. Wilson works their way through the neutral zone. And Eagles get called for an offsides. 8:01 left in the third period. Eagles trail 2-0. Eagles win the draw. Back to Chandler. Chandler over to Wilson. Wilson tries to chip it in. Puck gets won by Sadiakov and now sent in deep by Wilson. Fusoni forces the reversal. Stoney Creek. They send it into the Eagle zone. Chandler back to retrieve with some light pressure. She'll send it around the boards. That gets Cleared by Kearney. Kearney will send that back to Chandler. Chandler looking. Sends that up and just misses Diakov for an icing. Kearney wins the draw. Comes around to Frazier. Frazier gathers it, gets it over to Kearney. They try and work across the blue line. They send it in deep. Kearney in on the pressure. Putnam seals on the left side, and now the puck gets reversed back to the right. Held in by Putnam. Putnam sends it in deep again. Buzinski pinches. Puck comes over to Bossert. Bossert gets taken out mid-ice. Stoney Creek with the possession. They will try and work their way through the zone. Now Bossert with the puck. Bossert breaks in. Bossert with a big cut. Just gets poked away from her stick, and now Stoney Creek will clear. Furch up to Lai. Bobbles off of her stick. Now back up and out. Bossert swings it over to Lai. Misses, blocks, and hits the ceiling for the face-off. Stoney Creek wins the face-off to their left point. Swing over to the right point. Shot in. Looked like that went off of either a player or the post in after the shot from the right point. Eagles clear. Puck over to Wilson. Or Adi goes Alzada, I believe. Maybe. Stoney Creek, they come through the right side. Furch pressures. Fischler gets that up and out. Fusoni with the pressure, and Furch sends it back in, or Furch retrieves, but goes for icing. 5 minutes left in the third. Stoney Creek wins a face-off. D moving it quickly through the zone. Kearney tries to work the puck, but Stoney Creek retrieves. Now comes back around. Chandler to the corner. Chandler pressured. Helped out by Kearney. Kearney over to Putnam. And player's helmet comes off. So, automatic whistle. Puck should go out of the zone. Wasser wins the draw to Buzinski. Buzinski to Lou. Lou back to Lai. Lai chips it in. Fischler playing left wing now. And Buzinski in pursuit. Stoney Creek with the puck behind the net. They work it up to the top. Shot comes through. Deflected wide right. Stoney Creek cycles. Buzinski gets it up to Lai, held in by Stoney Creek. Triple teamed along the boards, and now Lou gets it, but comes up to Stoney Creek again, wide right. Stoney Creek still cycling, back up to the left point. Shot blocked, good block. Stoney Creek still with the puck. Stoney Creek tries to work through the slot area. Puck's still there. Now they send it in. Williams sticks it aside. Lai gets it. Lai sends it up to Fischler. Dumped in. Fischler with pursuit. Eagles on a line change. Furch intercepts in the neutral zone. Now Sadikov with little room. Sadikov backhand hits the bar. Nice backhand by Sadikov to get that opportunity. Just missed by half an inch. Puck comes to Wilson. Wilson comes from behind the net, gets a shot in, and Stoney Creek will freeze the puck with 2:28 left in the third. Culver still trails 0-2. Kearney with the draw. Comes over to Frazier along the boards. And Stoney Creek picks up the puck and they will clear. Comes back to Furch. Over to Messersmith. Messersmith cross ice to Putnam. Putnam over to Kearney. Kearney works it in on the left side. Kearney pursues. Back up to the point. Shot. Wide right. And Stoney Creek will clear. Over to Furch. Furch banks it off the boards. And Stoney Creek picks up the puck. They'll drive wide right. They cut across the middle to the far corner. They're happy to tie up, burn some seconds off of the clock. Comes over to Kearney. Kearney has some room. She tries to work over to Putnam. Furch sends it back to Putnam. And Frazier sends it in deep. Williams pulled for the extra attacker, down 2-0, 1:17 left. And goal. I'm not sure if the players knew that the goalie was gone. But Stoney Creek goes up 3-0 on the empty netter with 1:10 left in the third. Lou back to retrieve. Stoney Creek goes offside. Fischler wins it back to Chandler. Chandler over to Lai. Goes between her legs. And Lou back to retrieve. Lou sends it up to Fischler. Fischler over to Lai. Lai dumps it in. Lai back to pursue. Has Fischler up front if she can get it. Fischler now goes to help out behind the net. Comes up. Buzinski with a shot on net. Saves Stoney Creek. Pressured by Lai and Sadikov. Sadikov gains possession. Stoney Creek will break up the left side. They send it over to the right. Shot on net, wide right. Fusoni picks it up. 5 seconds left. Wilson dumps it in. And that'll be game. So tough opening game for Culver. Drops the game 3-0 to Stoney Creek. Stoney Creek played a dominant game. And we'll be back here later today. Hopefully can pull out a win this afternoon. We'll be playing Oakville over at the Big Boy Arena. And hopefully better viewing angle over at Big Boy Arena. I would think so. So it'll be Big Boy Arena, Rink 5. There's also a live barn over there. And we'll see you this afternoon.